Hey, Natasha Neese here, and today we're going to read chapter 6. So, it's called The Mother, the Soulmate, and the First Taste of Magic. Here we go. Okay. Our July 11th show in the outdoor courtyard of Southstage Cellars marked Mike's first appearance on bass. While the performance was strong, the aftermath was anything but. During teardown, JC, obviously furious and seething, intentionally slammed every piece of his metal drum hardware into its case, piece by piece, creating an extremely loud scene and leaving the remaining audience and venue staff bewildered. His childish fit would have been comical, it is now, thankfully, if it hadn't been simply disgraceful. I said nothing to him about it, lest I receive his wrath. But he still managed to scold me in front of audience members I was mingling with, an important part of my role, demanding that I count the tips right then and give him his share. It was sad to see JC self-sabotaging so intensely because I cared about him. But I could see that his behavior was becoming increasingly intolerable. I sat in Randy's truck after teardown and cried about it. On July 17th, we played Roxy-Ann again, a show that was very important to me because both of my sons, now in their late 20s, were coming to see me perform together for the first time. Zach and Lars were soon to be side by side in the crowd, witnessing what was such a huge part of who their mother was before they were born, and now again as young adults. Zach's longtime love, Megan, was coming too, along with her younger sister. It was a moment of profound gratitude for me, and I wanted them to see me at my best. I wanted them to feel proud of me, and I wanted us all to have fun. But before I even made it to the stage, Dominic began criticizing me about how I talked to the crowd between songs. Instead of offering encouragement and constructive ideas, he came at me with mockery, imitating me as if I were speaking serenely to a yoga class, turning what should have been a supportive discussion into something cruel. I tried to take his advice and let the delivery roll off my back. But as he continued on and on, I felt my chest tighten, my throat close, and I started to cry. He kept at it, even through my tears. But I knew the importance of pulling myself back together, especially after what happened at the radio station. I had to switch gears, calm my nerves, relax my body, open my throat, and focus on all the good that was gathering around me. I had to give myself the gift of joy and gratitude. And thankfully, I did. The show went beautifully. And more importantly, I felt good. I was able to let go of Dominic's words, even if only temporarily, and be in the moment with my sons in the audience. The highlight for me during the show was when my son Zach jumped in with a tip jar dance, an absolutely priceless moment that, thankfully, I captured on video. Watching him ham it up with the kind of playful showmanship that only he could pull off was pure gold. After the show, Lars sat with me as I counted hundreds of dollars in tips. That quiet moment, just the two of us, felt like a true gift. It was the only time both of my sons were together at a show. And despite the rocky start to the night, I walked away with something meaningful that I could hold on to long after the music faded. The deeper truth was, I wanted to see my sons more. They were brilliant, creative, and fiercely independent, just as I had raised them to be. But as they continued to forge their own paths, I found myself aching for more time with them, more closeness. As their only parent since they were 1 and 3, I had been their sole steady presence, their source of stability, guidance, and love. to the best of my ability. That tight bond may have made their need for individuation even more essential, and for me, their distance even more profound. I knew it was natural and healthy for them to establish space, to define themselves outside of my influence. But knowing that didn't make it easier. There was real pain in letting go of what was literally part of me, and it subtly tormented me as bittersweet longing that pulsed beneath my day-to-day life. Motherhood had been my most defining role. It shaped all my choices. For 2 decades or more, they had been my whole world. After they moved out, I was floating in the freedom of who I was beyond being mom. Not in the sense of lacking an identity, but in the sense of recreating one. Just as becoming a mother was a maturing transformation, so was letting them go, a transformation that mirrored theirs in reverse. As they moved outward into the world, I turned inward, listening for the parts of myself I had quieted to make room for their growth. Thankfully, singing again felt naturally aligned. But the more visible I became, on stage, online, in the community, the more lonely I felt. The crowds were appreciative, the compliments came often, but after the music faded and the social media posts were liked and shared, none of it could substitute for the comfort of being part of a family where we knew each other deeply and love was mutual. And though I was blessed by a close-knit circle of extraordinary friends, I wanted to be sharing my life with family, not just companionship, but that soul-level anchoring of belonging. There was something disorienting about the paradox. To be admired by strangers, yet felt unseen in the ways that mattered most. At shows, I'd often catch sight of happy couples, arms wrapped around each other, swaying to the music, and it would tug at something deep in me. Not envy exactly, but the realization of my own yearning, a reflection of the intimacy and emotional safety I longed for. But I was going home to the stark contrast of silence. I didn't mind being alone, but loneliness was a different thing, and it was woven into the fabric of my success. And then, just when I needed a soulmate more than I even knew, Casper entered my life, a Chihuahua Jack Russell puppy with eyes like ancient portals and a presence far greater than his size. I named him after the friendly ghost because it seemed he was my spirit animal, my little guardian, my ever-present ally, an angelic being who'd chosen to come to earth just to walk beside me. The gift of Casper came through my oldest friend in Ashland, Lisa, wise, intuitive, salt of the earth, horse lady Lisa, who had 2 toy chihuahuas of her own. I was leaning toward a Doberman, imagining the loyal, striking, protective energy I had grown up with during my childhood. But Lisa shook her head with quiet certainty. "No," she said, "you need a Chihuahua." It went against everything I thought I wanted. But Lisa saw through the truth of what I needed. Something tender I could take everywhere with me and cuddle with in bed. One morning, she texted me a photo of a tiny white puppy a couple of towns over in Medford who needed a home. "Let's just go see him," she said. "I'll pick you up." Of course, the rest is history. Casper arrived right as I had finally convinced Dominic to learn the legendary classic, Stairway to Heaven. I was playing it on repeat at home, in the car, on walks, immersing myself in every nuance of Robert Plant's delivery from Led Zeppelin's 1973 Madison Square Garden performance, captured in the documentary film The Song Remains the Same. I was completely spellbound by his performance. Robert wasn't just a rock star singing a song. He was a mythic bard weaving a parable through music, a sage delivering an enlightening message for those who could hear. A golden rock god. So for the first few months of Casper's life, that's all he heard. Stairway to Heaven. No other music. Just Robert Plant, and often me singing along over and over, filling our space with its poignancy and power. It was the perfect initiation for Casper into my world. It became our song. Even now, whenever it plays, Casper perks up his little ears with a shrill attentiveness, like some deep imprint awakens in him. On August 7th at South Stage Cellars, Mike, Dominic, and I played to a sold-out crowd as the Rare Trio. Without JC's intense energy, there was a palpable relief in the air. The atmosphere was calm, ethereal, and we gelled in a way that all artists strive for. At the end of Going to California, we slipped into a mesmerizing improvisational outro where I softly sang of peace with my palm outstretched to the audience, intentionally transmitting love. Somehow, I remembered the names of every single person there, all the fans, staff, and friends, and spoke each name into the music. Mike and Dominic kept playing, relaxing into the magic as long as it would last. The three of us created an intimate oneness with the audience that felt precious on a soul level. It was a living, loving lead highlight, a moment of pure chemistry, and a testament to the healing power of music.